I think, along with our content part, another part of our content team is our talent team. And we look for great on-camera hosts in the live shopping piece of this. And it's different. It's different than what a host is in television or live events, even, red carpet. This is somebody that can come in and be charismatic, engage, have incredible stamina, because our lives are minimum 2 hours and they're getting longer and longer.
You're listening to Retail Remix, your inside access to candid conversations with the people shaping retail's future. Here's your host, Alicia Esposito.
If you've listened to the show for a while, or you've seen my reporting on Retail Touchpoints, you know that I jump at any chance to cover the fascinating world of social commerce and creator-led marketing. That's why, no surprise, I am super excited to introduce today's episode with Matt Benator and Lauren Stevens. So they are co-founders of Orca, a fascinating company. I would almost call them an end-to-end live streaming content house that helps brands across categories. I mean, although they do have a very nice niche in beauty and skincare, really implement and actualize social commerce and live streaming strategies that resonate. Now, I know live streaming in and of itself is getting mixed perspectives in terms of adoption on the consumer side, brand use cases and successes, but I think the work that the team at Orca has done thus far really illustrates the opportunity and the innovation that is happening behind the scenes and maybe isn't as covered. Now, what's really interesting is Max and Lauren do have a history. They have a background in TV and their paths crossed, which is how they ended up in business together. So I wanted to pull that thread a little and really see how that background in media really led to the biggest aha moments for creating the Orca business and for setting so many brands on the path to live streaming success. Max, Lauren, thanks so much for being on the show. I am so excited to have you guys on today.
Thank you for having us. Glad to be here.
Yeah, and we have a lot to get into. And, we'll get into the whole founder story in a sec, which I always love to dig into on this show. But first, big question is, how did you guys meet? Was it through, you have backgrounds in TV, right? So was that kind of the connecting point for you both?
It was. We met back in 2011, about 13 years ago now. We were producing the first original series for Hulu called Genuine Ken in partnership with Mattel to celebrate the 50th year anniversary of the Ken doll. Max was running digital at a production company, and I came on as the showrunner.
Oh, I love that. And personally, I'm kind of a pop culture nerd, and I love covering retail and consumer brands that have these really strong intersections into culture and media. So to that end, I mean, what about your experiences in TV sparked the idea of getting into the world of retail and more specifically social commerce and live streaming? Like, what led you from point A to point B?
Well, for me, it was a phone call from Max. So I'll let Max start that and then I can go on.
Exactly. So Lauren was more primarily focused on television, and I made a bunch of TV shows as a producer and as an executive, but I was mostly focused on working with YouTube creators and creating content and big shows in some cases for YouTube and Instagram and other social platforms. And when you're working with creators over the last 15 years, a big part of that is selling products, whether that's creator merch, launching a brand in partnership with a creator. And so for me, I started to see how social media was evolving into really a better human shopping experience than your traditional product page. And I remember thinking, why is there no live experience where you can log into your favorite social platform and just get a shopping experience similar to QVC or Home Shopping Network, which I remember watching, scrolling through the cable channels when I was a kid. And I thought I was a genius. And I go to Google and I'm like, boop, 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 live stream shopping. Turns out it's already a big deal in other parts of the world. And I got really excited. And as Lauren said, Lauren and I had been trying to figure out ways to work together over the years. Since Genuine Ken, we worked on a couple of things, and she was the first person I thought of to explore something like this. So I gave her a call.
I love that. Well, and honestly, when you Google something and it already exists, I mean, that means you're onto something, right? So,
Yeah, it validated the idea. It also made it a little bit scary because you want to be an early mover. And for us, or that's the hope, you're an early mover, hopefully not too early. And interestingly enough, for Orca, Lauren and I, with our entertainment and producing backgrounds, always viewed this from the actual live show or creator experience rather than the technology experience. So when we founded 4 years ago, there were a number of VC-backed platforms all trying to do what TikTok Shop ultimately has done. And so I thought we were late when we got into it. And it turns out we were actually early, which has been great for us because we were able to accumulate a lot of learnings over that period of time and do a lot of experimentation and actually be there when TikTok Shop launched in the US before they launched, actually.
So you mentioned that you were looking for ways to work with Lauren after that first experience. What made you both decide to go on this founding journey together? Because I've mentioned this a few times in other conversations with founders that started as, colleagues in other situations or even as friends. It's like you can vibe in like one context, but starting a business together is like a big deal. And it requires a certain level of understanding. And I think collaborative gelling, so to speak, that is, if it's intentioned, great, but sometimes it doesn't always pan out that way. So what made you both feel like, yes, this is the right move, and yes, we can complement each other and work together in a way that is impactful from a business perspective?
Boy, it's been such a journey with you, Max. And it really continues to be, being business partners and co-founders of the company. What a roller coaster, highs and lows and challenges, but so much fun. I think that Max and I, we worked really well together from those first days over a decade ago. A couple things. We're both very driven. We're both very excited to take on challenges and figure things out. The idea of being able to be innovative and creative and uncover and discover new ways to approach retail and entertainment and find the intersection between the two was just incredibly exciting for both of us. And then in terms of working together, I've always said some of the ways in which Max and I, we complement each other. And at the same time, sometimes it's the ways in which we can butt heads as co-founders. Max is incredible visionary and at sales and coming up with these really, really huge ideas. And of course, we work on those together. And then when it comes time to execute and insert the creative, that's something that I can really bring to the table. So I think we've been able to balance each other out. We have a very open relationship and conversation. We can chat about whatever's going on. We can confront one another. We can talk through it. And at the end of the day, we're very much aligned on what we want to do and where we want to take this company. And I think that's what's really important, is the ability to communicate openly, have that dialogue, and know that at the end, we're both heading in the exact same direction.
I love that. And then even in scenarios where there is disagreement, it's respectful disagreement. There is no love lost, so to speak, and there is intention to simply make things better or make the other person better, if that makes sense. That idea of accountability, I think, is really important. We hear so many business stories where there are the yes men, quote unquote, or yes people, and it doesn't further innovation because you're not challenging each other. There's not productive disagreement, if that makes sense. Max, anything to add as far as, what made you feel yes, we're going to do this and it's going to be great. This makes sense for us?
Yeah, I've always been impressed with Lauren prior to us starting Orca, and that's only continued since we've started. And we have complementary skill sets. I've had the benefit of starting a couple of businesses and having successful exits and understanding that journey. And part of understanding that journey is what you were just mentioning. You can't start a new company and not have disagreements or really dig into solving a problem. And Lauren and I are both committed to not only allowing Orca to be the best possible success that it can be, and we're so fortunate that it has been successful, but also to help be a small part of inventing this industry. And all of the answers aren't necessarily apparent all of the time. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question, but it's been a great journey and I couldn't imagine a better co-founder.
I love that point around how it's not fully fleshed out, this category of ours. Like we've been covering live shopping, live streaming, however you want to define it, for I think, I want to say 3 years at this point. And the big debate was, it's a huge thing in China. It's so commonplace. It's like the way to shop for so many people. Is that going to translate over? It's getting there, but at the same time, there's so much evolution within all of these platforms. There are so many different solutions available, and like the creator economy in and of itself is also evolving. So I feel like there's a confluence of factors that make this sector it's somewhat difficult to navigate, but it also makes it very exciting, I'm sure, in your world, because you're helping add to that and create viable solutions and services to serve the brand side and retailer side, but also the customer and creator side as well. So let's get to the brass tacks of it all, which is what Orca is all about and how you are serving brands and retailers. Like, what's, I guess, the elevator pitch of it all?
Sure. So we are one of the leading live stream and social commerce providers in the US. We started on Amazon and became one of the top providers on Amazon Live, and were the very first company to sell a product on TikTok Shop US before their launch at like 1:17 in the morning on a short shoppable video. And since then, we have had the opportunity and the privilege to work with some of the largest, most well-known brands in a number of categories, and some really exciting new viral products and brands across a number of categories. And we provide 4 distinct services. In Culver City, we have 9 live rooms or live stream studios that go live at least 6 days a week, all day, across different brand partners. So we produce shoppable live streams with the goal of reaching the largest audience and selling as much product as possible within the context of the brand's goals. And also inside of our content group, we produce hundreds of short shoppable videos every month for all platforms. We have a performance media team, which is focused on social commerce, but acts like a traditional performance media team in e-commerce or other areas. One of the most valuable things that we do is we have a complete back-end e-commerce service capability. So that includes everything from 24/7 customer service to managing account health. So violations you might receive for product descriptions or even content. We ensure that stores stay up and running so your customers can purchase. And then we also have a really great creator group, which works with over 12,000 actively selling creators online in the US. So those are our 4 groups: content, creator affiliate, e-commerce, and performance media.
Wow. So if we were to look at the umbrella, so to speak, of your services, both more strategy based, I guess you could say, as well as more tactics based, I mean, this is pretty end to end. It seems like you're covering all of those touch points, so to speak, of viable and impactful social commerce strategy. So is it safe to say that like of this end-to-end scope, some clients can maybe take one thing or take 2 things or take the whole gamut? I mean, how are you seeing things shake out, I guess, from a client perspective in terms of what they're gravitating towards for your services?
Absolutely. When possible, we're going to encourage our partners and clients to come to us and let's dive in across the board, right? Let's do soup to nuts. We're able to provide, as Max said, content, shoppable content, affiliate, shop ops, paid media. Let's do it all and work together to really make this a success. We do, however, have different clients that come to us only interested in 1 or 2 services, and we will evaluate what we can do with them and go from there. So, for example, we have a brand right now that we're just doing short form content for. We have another that we only do live for. We have a number that we do affiliate and shop ops for. Again, our preference is to do it all so that we can really pull all the levers and maximize their social commerce presence. But it's case by case, and we look at what their KPIs are and what we can provide and figure it out.
That's great. So you're probably having a very detailed conversations with your clients around where their current capabilities lie, like what they're currently doing, what they're missing, or what they're looking to achieve, I'm sure. And just judging by our reporting, I feel like brands are kind of all over the map. So I'd love your perspective as far as where brands are prioritizing their social commerce efforts. Like what's really top of mind for them right now? And this could be either, I guess, from a budgetary standpoint, like what they're really drilling into and trying to get maximum return on, or from a creative standpoint, right? I mean, you guys are living and breathing this every day. So, I mean, you tell me where the chips are falling right now.
Brands are really excited about moving into social commerce. I think they recognize that content and creators perform better than traditional static PDPs. So creator and live, which are the two shiniest objects and can also be the most impactful, especially on the creator affiliate side, because on the affiliate side, you can really scale. When you put a program in place that goes viral, then you, as a brand or a retailer, you don't have the production costs associated with producing the content yourself. And so you can watch this virality happen where prior to social commerce, that would be almost exclusively an awareness or reach opportunity. And now with shoppable video and live streams, that actually becomes an e-commerce and sell-through opportunity in a way that didn't exist before. So I would say creator affiliate and live, they are definitely most excited about. But as Lauren was saying, we really encourage the full suite of services, not just because we want to be across more of the services for our own business, but because there are some really counterintuitive ideas and shifts in thinking that brands aren't necessarily set up to execute across. And it's really important to get multiple departments inside of larger brands to lean in and work together so that we can pull off a successful social commerce program.
That's interesting. Can we expand upon that a little bit, Max? Like where are the big, I guess, friction points? And, we don't want to overgeneralize, right? Every company is different, but are there any common points of contention or points of misunderstanding between teams and what it takes to have a social commerce strategy that's truly effective?
Absolutely. I'll highlight a couple, Lauren. I don't know if you have any top of mind as well. One, on creator affiliate programs, the most impactful thing that you can do is have many thousands of creators tag your product and implore their audiences to purchase it because of how great it is. And this is almost 180 degrees from what we know of as influencer marketing, where entire social media teams are set up to hand select a set of creators that are going to be paid to produce content. Videos will get approved. So these creators are effectively brand ambassadors, and the videos are funded brand content. So the brand has hands on it. And we see brands will sometimes have a natural instinct to want to treat their affiliate programs like they do their brand ambassador or creator endorsements. And what ends up happening is they inadvertently limit that funnel, and that depresses the virality and the sales opportunity. And one of the things we share with our brand partners is think of your affiliates not as just your brand ambassadors, because there will be top creators who we want to work directly with and potentially even pay an upfront fee to bring them into the program. But they're also your community and your customers and fans. Anyone who wants to go to the effort of making a video about your product and sharing it with their audience is a good thing, as long as they're not doing anything that is really crosses the line in terms of appropriate or against brand values. So that's one area.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second is treating lives like an event. Live shopping, for better or for worse, is an investment. It requires live hosts and production and studios. We do it really, really, really efficiently. our costs are much lower than somebody might imagine when I say we have all of those things. But if you just do one live stream as an event, you're in more of a marketing awareness category because now you have to drive tune in and you've got to have your biggest bang for your buck in that 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour moment in time. When in reality, our belief is that your live should be your retail shop and it should be always on. And so anyone can come in when they're ready to shop, not when you're ready for them to shop.
Yeah. And then I would add on the live side as well, it's really makes a difference when you have a brand that's ready to lean into the platform and lean into the opportunity and understands that live shopping is not only about educating people on the products and entertaining them with great talent, but it really is about offering the best deal and creating a sense of urgency and FOMO for the consumers so that whether it's an exclusive bundle that they can only get right there, right now, a flash sale that they're never going to find anywhere else, prices that truly are going to beat their D2C or that you can find in a CVS or a Nordstrom, right? It's like, what can we do in that live to get people to actually click to order and convert them? Because people are still, they're price shopping. They're looking to see where else they can get things. They're still getting used to this idea of actually clicking to buy. And so we need to work with brands to make sure that we can offer something so exciting, so unique that they're actually going to go ahead and finish out and convert to be a buyer.
I love that. I love that we're getting into the psychology of what makes these experiences so effective, because I do think sometimes with any new marketing channel or tactic, there is this tendency for teams to almost try to find a formula and just replicate it as much as possible. But I think you guys are kind of leaning into the aspects where creativity meets strategy and business fundamentals. And I think that's the heart of what makes social commerce and live streaming so exciting for me. It's like that entertainment and commerce and community really coming together. And obviously you both have a lot of entertainment and media savvy. So is there anything like distinct that you're bringing to the business, your work with clients and applying to this space, which, you know, honestly, it is very entertainment and personality led. I mean, a lot of the decisions that are being made among consumers, it's through these creators that they relate to and that they enjoy and that they get a lot of value from, usually in the form of entertainment. So like, how are those paths crossing for you guys in the everyday work of making the donuts, so to speak?
So much. And that's part of why I'm having so much fun doing this. Being able to be creative, to be innovative. It's so early in this industry here in the United States, in this market, that we can really play. And again, it depends on what brand and what they're open to and what we can do. But you know, we have a lot of tools that we can deploy. So right off the bat, an important metric we look for is enter room rate, ERR. So we can think about, how do we do that? Is that a really eye-catching set? Right? Are there pieces on the set that are glowing or moving? Is it exciting graphics that are catching their eye? Is it a host that is stunning or just has this incredible energy, right? How do we get them into that room and then entertain them and hold them while we also sell to them, right? So I think, you know, along with our content part, another part of our content team is our talent team. And we look for great on-camera hosts in the live shopping piece of this, you know, and it's different. It's different than what a host is in television or live events, even, you know, red carpet. This is somebody that can come in and be charismatic, engage, have incredible stamina, because our lives are minimum 2 hours and they're getting longer and longer, to be honest, but really have that stamina to keep that energy and engage for hours at a time. And at the same time, sell, right? So they have to know their products inside and out. They need to be able to answer any questions. They need to understand what our run of show and our strategy is on the merchandising side to not only connect with the audience, but convert the audience. So it's a lot of fun. There's a lot we can do on the entertainment side. And then we merge that with our merchandising team. And hopefully that's how we drive our successful live shopping experience.
I love that. So digging a little bit deeper into the talent side, I mean, you called out some very critical attributes for success. I mean, usually after an hour long recording, I'm like ready to just like lie down for a bit. So major props to the talent. But is there anything else that you look at or consider as far as like that affiliate network goes, like size of following, I mean, certain areas of specialty? Like, how do you ensure that you're aligning the right people to the right brand partners? I mean, I'm just so fascinated by how this all works. So apologies for the very deep dive question.
Yeah. Well, so the hosts and talent that Lauren is talking about are Orca's hosts. We have 40 exclusive live shopping hosts in our stable
Okay.
that we train and allow our brands to get access to. Our brands can also run a custom casting process if they'd like to go outside of our stable of hosts. And off the bat, we would not have access to the on-camera talent that we have or have the leadership position in live shopping that we do if it wasn't for Lauren and her experience both as a TV showrunner and development executive. We were able to move very quickly with long-standing relationships and colleagues in the talent community in Los Angeles and start our own custom casting methodology for finding great talent with charisma that is different than a red carpet host or an actor. So that's one of the distinct advantages that we have because of our entertainment background. This is different than our pool of creators and affiliates that's 12,000 plus.
Got it. Okay, so it's two different buckets, so to speak.
Exactly.
Okay.
On the creator affiliate side, we have access to a lot of data, especially on TikTok Shop, but also outside of TikTok Shop around different performance criteria, whether that's reach, engagement, or sales. So we factor that data into our recommendation and selection process for affiliates. We also look for affiliates that have a certain affinity for a category. And those affiliates fall into our curated group. But we'll always recommend opening up beyond our curated group as wide as possible for the reasons that I stated earlier, because there might just be, we've seen it countless times, where there's a creator with 10 or 12 or 15,000 followers that's not a professional creator. And she is just such a fan of the brand and ends up making the most authentic video you could imagine. And one, that naturally goes viral and drives sales and allows the creator to earn a commission. But more than that, that signal allows our performance media team to boost the best performing content, driving even more sales. So we're taking fewer guesses around what video or creator might actually perform. We can actually now look at a large hundreds and even thousands of videos to make those decisions. And it gives us the opportunity to offer more compensation to the creators in the form of fees or commissions. So on the affiliate side, we do our best to encourage our brand partners to go as wide as possible and allow the community to create. For our hosts, that's in-house, deep training, and our hosts only work on brand handle. Our creators all work on their own pages and their own handles.
Understood. Okay. No, this is really helpful to understand all of the nuances and also all of the opportunities too. Like the folks listening that may be new to this entire space, understanding all of the different players and characters that can play a role here. And, we've talked a lot about, I guess, theory and strategy and like what makes these shows successful. But I'd love for us to get into an example or two. I mean, I have seen your client list. There are some great brands. Are there any that really rise to the top for you both? And can you share any, I guess, takeaways or best practices from these examples to really illustrate how these concepts and the ideas that we've discussed thus far really come to life?
Thank you. On our client list, I feel very fortunate to have some of the best brands in the beauty category, skincare, wellness. We started very early on with a brand called Kimchi Chic Beauty. It's a creator partnered brand. Kimchi was the first Korean American drag queen on television in the US on RuPaul's Drag Race. Her face is iconic, and the colors that she uses have been put into a makeup line, a beauty line, in partnership with Tony Ko, the founder of NYX Cosmetics. We were really fortunate to partner with them early on and have had so much success on TikTok Shop in partnership with them. We consistently stream live, typically 6 days a week. We have a really healthy affiliate program in partnership with them, and all of our services, paid media and e-commerce backend operations, are all deployed in partnership with Kimchi. It's just a wonderful one that I'm really happy to bring up. Another one in the beauty category is Sashu Beauty, which is also in partnership with a creator. And Sashu has a really innovative product, which is this lip stain, which you may have seen, which also went viral on TikTok Shop. And we've built a custom set for them. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but we'll follow up with some visuals of it. It's really beautiful. And then, of course, we continue to expand our relationship with e.l.f. Beauty. We're across e.l.f. Skin and Alicia Keys Soul Care. So just really wonderful working with all of them across the board on social commerce. I'm realizing, are you looking for like some case study information, or what can I share that would...
No, I think those were great. And, we'll be sure to include some links in the show notes if they're relevant to just showcase how some of these ideas really come to life. But I guess across the board, have there been any key best practices that you've acquired from these great examples? You don't have to get too specific of use X type of creative, or I guess any themes or lessons that you think would be actionable for our listeners who are frankly at different stages of exploring social commerce and live streaming specifically.
Sure. I'll share very high level, and Lauren, I don't know if you have some additional thoughts too. Our view is that creator content, short video, and live streams are simply a more human, interactive shopping experience. So we're really on a mission to just allow folks to have closer to an IRL, in real life shopping experience with their device than what we're all accustomed to with traditional e-commerce. I share that guiding light for us because regardless of where a brand is in its journey, whether it's really sophisticated and has been experimenting for a year, or it's just curious about how to increase e-commerce sales and grow its brand presence, if you think about it as connecting with and interacting with your customer in a deeper way than a product review or product description can do, that will set any brand out on the right foot.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I would just also encourage brands when they decide to jump into social commerce, as much as possible, be nimble, be ready to experiment. We live by test and learn every day in each one of those different departments we talk about, whether it's content, short form shoppable, live, affiliate, just everything. Just you need to be able to move quickly, test, see what's working, lean into that. If it's not, no worries. Let's get back at it the next day. This is a very fast moving industry, tons of opportunity, but you need to be able to be reactive and push through.
Oh, I love that. And it's definitely a fast moving space, always evolving. New trends, new capabilities in all of these platforms, and also just new consumer behaviors and expectations. As they grow more comfortable shopping through these platforms, that creates more opportunity. It's like everything is cyclical and connected together. So to that end, I'd love to hear what Orca is thinking about, what you guys are prioritizing going into the next year, whether it be new services, new focal points. Everybody's talking about AI, for instance. Do you have a play there? Would love to hear what's in the pipeline for you.
Yeah, well, we're making investments in AI, and there's two areas of AI that are interesting to us. One of them, which is the shiniest object, and I think is going to be figured out by folks other than us, and I'm very excited for it, are digital AI avatars and experiences with AI live host. I think that's really interesting and exciting. I don't think that's around the corner. I think there's a lot that's got to get figured out before that comes to life. More immediately, we're seeing that AI can be incredibly effective in optimizing product pages and helping with a higher volume of short video output And once you reach a certain volume of sales, you can use those optimizations on your product page to see incremental sales lift. So a lot of interesting things on that side that we're exploring as well.
That's great. Super exciting. And I hear you're also taking everything you've learned so far about social commerce and, this world you're living, and you're turning it into a conference, right? It's taking place in February. Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about that?
Thank you, Alicia. I'm most excited to share about SOCOM, which you can check out at socom.live. And as this industry continues to grow in the US, this year alone, before the end of the year, in the next 5 months, $90 billion will be sold through social commerce. Globally, within the next 18 months, by 2026, $2.9 trillion of commerce will be conducted through social commerce. It's a really, really exciting, growing space. So we are the founding partner of and the group behind the first social commerce conference in the US, which will be February 6th, 2025 in Los Angeles. We have Malik Ducard. He's the Chief Content Officer of Pinterest, providing our keynote. Brands participating include e.l.f. Beauty and Gap. Platforms participating include TikTok Shop and Pinterest, of course, and a number of others. Livecom is a wonderful tool that allows you to do live streaming and short shoppable video on your Shopify site. They're a sponsor and they'll be speaking. We've got an incredible lineup. The event is currently invite only. So when you go to the website, you register to get an invitation. Alicia, however we can figure it out, anyone who's listening to this podcast and is interested in attending, I want to make sure their registration gets through for an invite. So we're just really excited about it.
Love that. No, it sounds great. And we'll be sure to include all those details in the show notes for all of you listening. Like we've been chatting about this entire time, and this is such an exciting space to be in, that perfect convergence of community, content, and commerce. Folks who listen to the show know how passionate I am about this topic. So thank you both so much for taking the time. But before we close things out and we say goodbye, I'd love both of you just to share a closing thought or two, just a quick sentence or two around, how you think social commerce will evolve over the coming year and what you're most excited about going into 2025. I think that may be a nice positive way to close things out. Lauren, do you want to start?
I'm just every day I'm blown away with the new tools, the new opportunities in the space, the ability to tap into my entertainment background and bring that into retail, the ability to help our brand partners explore this space. I just think the opportunity is endless and it's very, very exciting for us. I'm happy to be part of it.
Awesome. Max?
Absolutely. I would love to see on D2C sites all day long live shopping experiences so that when you go to your favorite brand and you land on their website, you actually get a live sales associate and host to help you through your purchasing journey and answer your questions. I'm hopeful that's on the horizon. And I think it would fundamentally make shopping on our digital devices so much more interesting and fulfilling.
Beautiful. Well, Lauren, Max, thank you again so much for taking the time out and for sharing a little bit about your journey together and what you both are creating. It's truly special. And I think the incredible range of clients you have and the success you've been able to see thus far really speaks volumes. So thank you both so much for taking the time out again to speak with me.
Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you so much for having us.
And to all of you listening, of course, we'd love to hear your thoughts on this episode and, of course, your own experiences with social commerce. What's working, what's not, what you're excited to test out. We'll be sure to tag Lauren, Max, and the Orca team. That way they can be a part of the conversation too. LinkedIn, as you know by now, is our platform of choice. Of course, we're on X too, but LinkedIn is where we really have the deep dive conversations. So be sure to follow us there. And of course, be sure to subscribe to the show. We're having weekly conversations with folks like Max and Lauren who are shaping the future of commerce. So be sure to subscribe. That way you get the latest and greatest conversations delivered right to your device. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, frankly, anywhere else. We're probably there too. But again, before you close things out, be sure to subscribe. For now, that's it from us, everyone. Thank you so much again for joining us. We will see you next time. Take care. Thanks for listening to this episode of Retail Remix. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find us on your favorite podcast player. Until next time, keep mixing it up.